Who is the scariest person you know in real life? 1. I was a writing tutor in college and there was this tiny senior Vietnamese man named Notnam who would come to me for help with his English 101 writing assignments. Super nice, quiet man, militantly polite and humble. They got a prompt along the lines of write about a memory you'll never forget. He handed me his essay to check over and it was a 4-page description of how he used to crawl through tunnels and stab people. He described coating himself in mud so thick he would blend into the walls. One story involved him silently moving through a room of sleeping soldiers and killing each one. His writing was new English speaker matter-of-fact descriptions of what killing people with a knife is like. Like, on Thursday, I killed 3 at the entrance, then the doctor and his patient, then the 4 youngsters in the big room, then I killed the radio man. They were eating so I had some rice and fish. Then I killed the 2 men at the back entrance. Then I left and rode my motorcycle to my mom's house and we played cards. 2. My grandma, she was part of the Croatian resistance during World War II and would lure soldiers into the woods for them to be ambushed and murdered. She helped burn down a barn full of Nazis. She eventually fled to Tangiers where she stabbed a guy to death who tried to rape her. She then eventually earned enough money to make it to America where she settled in northern Minnesota. Again, someone tried to rape her on her walk home after work and she bit so hard on his lower lip and pulled that it basically peeled the skin down to his chin. I've seen her scare away wolves and bears with cooking pans. She smoked a pack and drank a pint of brandy a day until she died. She was just some tiny old lady, but she scared the hell out me. 3. My dad he was a hoarder, like on TV. Someone gave me a cordless drill for a birthday and he found out about it. He wanted to borrow it, so I said okay. Fast forward 6 months and I asked him to return it. He did, but the creepy thing was I saw him drive up to my house beforehand and look at my windows. He couldn't see me looking out. He had the coldest, nastiest look on his face. He was beyond pissed, into dangerous territory. You just can't see a person the same way after you've been given a glimpse inside. It makes me chilled even now. 4. I once had a job at a company that employed a murderer as a security guard. Obviously before he was known to be a murderer. He seemed like a fairly nice but rather moody young man. While I was working there, a child in the broader community disappeared from her home one evening, and it was all over the news by the next morning. I got into work, and there he was at his post, grinning silently, while his colleague explained that the missing girl was from his neighborhood, and that he had stayed up late assisting police and neighbors in the search. Unfortunately, they had found no sign of the girl, and she remained missing for more than a year. I'm sure by now you have figured out that this young security guard was the one who took that poor child and killed her, and what's more, he stashed her body in cold storage on the premises of my workplace. This gruesome fact was revealed some years after he left his job, when he casually confessed the crime to his girlfriend. It was later discovered that he had also killed an older woman, at least a year before he was hired at my company. As a security guard, he wasn't scary in his manner, ever. That's what makes my memory of him so scary now. 5. Guy who was in my friend group in high school. We were kinda the weird geeky kids, but this guy was on a totally different level. He would go cruising around and look for the little roadside memorials that people around here will put up when a loved one is killed in a car crash. Generally they consist of photos, stuffed animals, saint candles, maybe something seasonal for a holiday. This guy would check out the photos to see if the victim was a cute girl, and if so would steal the photo and add it to his collection. He had a dozen or so that he kept in his wallet, like your grandma carries around to show her friends. He knew all of these dead girls' names, personal details from obituaries, yearbooks, whatever he could find. He would talk about these girls like they were his girlfriends. I met this new girl named Jenny. We're going to get together this weekend. Sometimes he took the stuffed animals from the memorials as well, but only if he thought they had actually belonged to the girls. How could he tell, you ask? He would smell them.